morning, everyone. We've got a cloudy day in Victoria Falls, one of the first cloudy days of the season. We've just hit October, and I think soon we might be getting those fresh rains to break the dust. I'm here this morning with Garth Adams. Real pleasure to be with you here, Garth. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for allowing me to come on here.
We're here to talk about a little bit about you and a special project that you've been instrumental in getting going, which is called the Isibaya Conservation Project, and it's all about the conservation of leopards in the southern part of Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
But before we get on to that, Garth, could you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do?
Look, ever since I was a young boy, I used to watch my dad going off on these hunting and fishing trips, and I always took a interest in his trips, and whenever he came back, I loved the thought of him being in the wild and all that, and it really set home with me, and always wanted to be part of nature or in nature my whole life. So as soon as I got an opportunity after school and university, I opted to go into nature. Worked in the southern part of Zimbabwe in Mangwe. That's where Vaughan and I met each other. After a few years, I ended up going to Nyasa Reserve in northern Mozambique, and then that's where I started to get the grasp of the conservation side of what we were doing and what we were about. Really learned a lot, and when I came back to Zim in 2015, Vaughan and I started working together.
Tell us a little bit about Vaughan, so we know
So
who he is.
Vaughan, you speak to him about stories. His dad, when they used to walk 12 miles to school every day, it's really ingrained in him, that area, and the story. His grandfather and being attacked by a leopard. So his history with leopard in that area it's been around since time began. I went off to Mozambique. Vaughan stayed in the area, developed it a bit. When I got back, he started talking about this project of recompensation for livestock lost and how it could benefit the area as opposed to handing money over.
Okay, so can I come in at that point? So essentially, from a layman's term, Isibaya was born out of years of conversation, talking around the fire, you and Vaughan meeting each other,
Yes.
recognizing that there's a relationship, you guys think on the same level, and you want to give back to conservation.
Yes, yeah.
And you're both passionate about leopards. You can see that leopards are in conflict with a local community in the area, and these leopards are basically picking off cattle.
Very much so, yeah.
And you can see this kind of volcano brewing,
Yeah.
whereby the community is getting really upset, and that if we're not careful, more cattle are going to get killed, or all the leopards are going to get killed. So you're trying to find a balance.
Exactly, and that's the issue we're having.
So you've called it the Isibaya Conservation Project. Isibaya, for those that don't know what that means, can you tell us why you called it that and what it means?
So in the local language, Ndebele, it means health of a kraal, health of the herd, keeping the kraal safe. So for us and for the concept of the project, it's a perfect fit. We're trying to keep the herd safe and the kraal safe from leopard, while at the same time trying to keep the leopard and the predators in the area safe. Our biggest issues are poisoning on the predators and then dogs for the poaching. So we started thinking of ways, and the standard recompensation of you lose a cow, I'll give you money, didn't seem to be doing the trick, because guys were still angry about it. They were losing their livelihood, and that a guy with only 9 cows, he loses one, that's a huge loss to the African culture on how they see livestock, and especially cattle. So we started thinking on different ways, and Vaughan thought of, why don't we give them a cow for if they lose a cow, or a sheep or a goat, and we started building up on it over quite a few years, and then COVID came along, and thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity. We're not busy, we're not running around with our like headless chickens. We can actually get this going. So in May last year, we all migrated to Mangwe and started the project. With cattle, the whole district, we've estimated that we'll be replacing about 280 a year. In villages and areas where there's a high human population, where we never thought there would be a leopard, has been some of our biggest leopard counts.
Wow.
One village was incredible. We found 7 leopard within the village, and there wasn't much bush around for them to hide in, but there's enough koppies or mountains, granite outcrops, for them to hide in, and they were just coming and picking off sheep and calves, and that was how they were surviving.
Basically, you are looking to raise funds for this project. One is to be able to replace the cattle that are being lost through a breeding program.
Yes.
Whereby you'll actually breed up cattle and protect them and then give them to the community at no charge.
At no charge.
Okay, and then secondly, you want to, as you're saying, it's very difficult to quantify the numbers of leopard that are there.
Yeah.
But you obviously want to be able to quantify that.
Yeah.
And so I assume you're bringing in things like camera traps and other methods in order to count these leopards, that over a period of time, a few years, you'll be able to say, look, the leopard population has remained consistent, or it's gone up, or it's gone down.
Yeah.
Am I right?
100%. We put the camera trap up, and the camera trapping and the IDing of the leopards started originally to see if there was a problem with reoccurring offenders, and then we started getting to an IDing on the leopard, and at the moment we're on 44 leopard and 15% of the district.
Clearly a project of that scale requires a lot of effort and a lot of resources.
Yeah.
So at the moment, how are you being supported, and what are your plans to get more support financially?
So up until this point, we've been financing it ourselves. It's been coming out of our own pocket mostly, and up until now it's been fine, but as the project's been growing, it's becoming more and more difficult to replace the cattle. Just a lot more than we can handle. And then with the breeding program, I mean, that for us, that's the exciting part, because one of the big ones we want to do is women's initiatives. So obviously with the cattle, and we'll be hiring quite a lot from the local community to help us with the cattle, because we'll need about 700 to 800 head of cattle to make the project self-sustainable, as well as being able to replace the 270, 280 cattle a year. And then we've got the goats and the sheep as well. But we also want to bring in bailing initiatives for women,
right?
Fish projects, all sorts of different ideas and job opportunities.
It sounds like an amazing project and something that will go for many, many years to come. But
that's what
clearly you need the financing, you need the support.
Yeah.
So tell us, Garth, you've got a creative plan in the wings.
Yeah.
That you're looking to raise some initial funds.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit more about that? You've put on a little bit of weight recently.
I've been eating well, So, as you said, I've put on a bit of poundage. So, we've been thinking for a while now, coming up with different ideas for fundraising, and we're going to do walks and runs, but everyone's doing that. So I thought, well, I need to lose weight. Why don't we make a fun competition out of it and see if we can raise some funds? So we looked at different ways, and we thought a versus would be good. So Graham Cochran has kindly joined us, and it's going to be Graham versus myself, see who can lose the most weight, as well as an overall weight lost. So there'll be two competitions running, Graham versus myself, and guys can make bets on how much weight they think each of us is going to lose, and there will be prizes for the closest bet, and then the other one's going to be our overall weight loss, where guys can pledge a dollar amount per kg lost, and then there'll be a raffle at the end of that, and there'll be a few exciting prizes to be won out of that raffle.
Brilliant. So take us a little bit into the specifics. So when is your weigh-in?
So the weigh-in will be 15th of October at Shoestrings,
Okay.
at the end of happy hour, so everyone's a bit excited.
Okay, Shoestrings here in Victoria Falls. And then you go for a month?
Yes.
And then on the 15th of November?
No, well, we'll be going for 4 weeks. So
4
it will
weeks,
be 12th of November.
So 12th of November, Shoestrings again, the two of you weigh in.
Yes, yeah.
So my bet's definitely that Garth's going to lose more weight than Graham Cochrane. The way I played touch rugby with him the other day, and he was very sluggish on the field side. I don't think Graham's even going to be able to lose much more than a kg, to be honest. Anyway, but that sounds like a lot of fun. Tell us, how are people going to be able to follow this thing? Is it going to go on social media and all of that?
So we have a Facebook page, Isibaya Leopard Conservation Project.
Okay.
And we'll be updating on there. Don't want to give away too much because it's the final bet. But yeah, we'll be updating everyone on, not our progress, but what we're looking like during that whole month, and what we're up to, running down the gorge, maybe running on the airstrip. Sarah and I will be going back to Mangwe during that period, so for us we'll also be running around the dams and all that sort of stuff. So we'll keep everyone entertained and
excellent. Well, we'll be following you with extreme interest and monitoring the size of your gut to make sure that you are coming out as the winner of the race. But folks, I can't encourage you enough to get yourselves behind this project. I think, it's important, particularly for the communities that surround the area in Mangwe where the leopard are, but also equally important that leopard are taken care of.
Yeah.
So congratulate you guys on the initiative, and really, really hope it works out. And from us also, as part of the Zambezia Conservation Alliance, we're proud to have Isibaya as one of our outreach partners. We're excited to work with you and do anything we can to support you, Garth. So good luck, mate. I hope you lose plenty of weight, and we will see you on the other side.
Thank you, Luke.
Cheers.
Cheers.
If you like this episode and don't want to miss out on other ones, please go to YouTube, look for Luke Brown Zim, and hit the subscribe button. Thanks.